Test, test. Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. It's Friday. It's January the 17th. This will be our chart lesson for today. Not a lot of trades today, but it was a really good trading day. I was done early today, and I meant to already have this done even before lunch, but I'm just now getting around to doing it. It's been a lot going on around here. But I see a trading range. We had a failed break out the top, an equal failed break out the bottom. And this range just kind of set up from yesterday's late afternoon high. Originally, of course, when I first came in, I had this up here, but you kind of move it down. Um, and really what's interesting, you get two legs down. And even though these aren't perfect measured legs, it looks, I haven't actually measured this, so I want to measure it before I say it's a perfect measured move on the breakout. There's your move at the top that broke out. And there's your move. And it missed it by, looks like a tick too, so on that side. So, but it's real close, within a tick of being a perfect, measured move on the failed breakouts. Um, but I was looking at this, the bias was down, but obviously when it broke out here and failed, then it's headed right back to the highs, and we hit these. You can see there was kind of support there, resistance there, support there, and then we found resistance there. And now we found support again down here at the lows. Um, so let me show you the trades I saw real quickly, and then we're going to wrap it up for the week. But the first trade I saw, I drew this one in green. It is a trap. Notice the new high, first entry long, pullback, second entry long, and then we turn down. And you're expecting prices to come down here and probably test these lows, usually the closes. Is what I shoot for, and there was just enough to scalp out, and you see that's exactly where it bounced. So you didn't get anything more, but it was just enough to scalp out of that, and no runners or anything. And then we went into this, and this is right before the open. This is just no man's land. Don't try to. You got to wait on a trap. Um, I did draw a trend line right off these closes here. You can see that it fits right off those closes, and just like so. And we come up and we break out and we turn down right off of that. And I didn't like going short below that bar. Aggressive trader might have. Let me move that because it is a failed break out of that. And you should be thinking if we start moving lower, you figure we're probably coming back to at least test the low. And we might even make a measured leg down, which we tried to do, but we hit the lower side of this little channel before we were able to. But aggressive trader might have gone short right there, but definitely off of this line, you got to go short. Um, there's enough room to get out before you get back down here. And easy move. You don't, of course, like I said, you don't know for sure if it's going to take off like this, but it does. And then you're looking for a measured move. But I would copy this line and draw it down to this side like so. And you can see when we touched that right there, I just exited. Um, and that brings up a good point too. I'll say this real quickly. Um, Generally, when I exit, I've got a target of some kind, which is the other side of the channel, or a strong support or resistance area, or a measured move. Uh, but there are people that use our strategy to enter for swing trades. And some of those people will try to stay, they'll get a runner and they'll try to keep it going. But you'll hear me say, you could have ridden this all the way to the top or all the way to the bottom. And I wasn't really thinking about what I was saying there, but somebody mentioned that, hey, that might be misleading because technically the key to our success in what we do here is the fact that we don't try to hang on to trades too long. We scalp out, we take our profit, and then even with our runners, I've got a target and I'm trying to reach it, and I'm not really the type that manages my, just say if you theoretically, if you caught a runner here, you could carry this all the way up until you finally make a lower low, which would have been right below that swing right there. But if you just moved your stop up below each new swing, high or low, actually you might have gotten stopped out right there below that double bottom. And so you could manage it that way. And sometimes you can ride that all day long and ride it from the low to the highs if you're able to catch a runner. But generally, we're not trying to do that. So I did want to clarify that since this trader brought that up, and I didn't, me, I'm not even thinking, I'm just saying something that's on my mind. And so I don't want to confuse anybody, because really I'm a scalper first, and even on my runners, I don't consider myself a swing trader. Even with my runners, I always have a target. And just like right here, my runner, I exited when I touch right here. And if I was buying long down here, which I wouldn't necessarily till we get a trap or a reversal type deal, I'm looking to exit when we get back up here to this side. And you can see it would have continued to go higher, but it could have just as easily turned down and made another leg down. So just wanted to clarify that, since I did have a few minutes, there's not as many trades. But nice short here, nice move. And then now you got your two legs down, you got this break below here, and you figure there's a good chance you could get a failed break lower, but wait on the setup, wait on the trap. You don't want to be going long here, and you really don't want to take a second entry long here, not with this setup. You might have considered it because it's the second entry long and you got the little trap, but I'd rather prefer and wait on when you get this setup, then you get a real trap. And it still doesn't take off because it's fighting to get through all this support, previous support resistance area here, and it's turned to resistance. But it comes back and it tests it a couple of times. But I like going long right there because there's a new low, your first entry, your pullback, your second entry, it fails and turns up. And probably want to use a limit order here. Easy scalp if you did. Even with a stop right there, you got enough to get your scalp. No runners unless you got a limit order filled on further down here, which you could have. Again, this is no man's land, just like this. It starts to stack up. You get a little breakout and you try to go lower twice. There's a little failed second entry there. Notice that. First entry, pull back. Second entry, it fails, turns up. So I like going long right there. It's a little close to these highs, but you got that trap, and this thing's working higher. And so I like going on. You don't want to be going short there because we're all above the EMA. There's too many stems down here. We're making higher highs and higher lows. And then we go into this right here. But that's a failed second entry short. I went back and forth whether or not to make this one green, but I like this because it looks like a trading range. And this is what we've been seeing lately. So the odds were we were probably headed right back up here or even up here. And that's where we went. But then we got into this, and I got an email from another trader today that got tricked right here because notice the new high, first entry pullback. So it's kind of a second entry long off the EMA, but we weren't back to the trend line the way I saw it. I played with this to see if I could see maybe what she was seeing, and I think what she saw was something like that right there. Let me just... And you can see that looks valid right there. I can't argue with that for the most part because it does look rather valid. So if you got tricked right there, once you got these two bars, you might consider exiting. But let me show you something else you could see that would keep you out of that trade right there, even if you were looking at it the way she was looking at it. Notice how these bars are stacked up side by side. You got a double top, and then you made a double bottom. But notice how you're not making higher highs and higher lows. Notice, like even in here, we were still making higher highs and higher lows all the way up through here. And you're not doing that right here. This is just a little channel, and you can see by drawing the lines, it's a lot clearer. And, then you wait on the little trap. There's a little failed break out the low side, a bounce off what I saw as the trend line, and then we're going higher. And it worked out great. But if you entered right here, even with a 2-tick stop, you probably got, you got stopped out. But, and I can see how you would have seen the trend line the way she saw it, but I was using, these lower closes like that right there. And that's what I saw. And then we broke lower. We came back and tested that. But notice that trend line coming off those same closes. We broke higher, tested it, closes on its low. Just drop a stop right there. Easy trade. And, you're looking for it to probably come back down here and test the lows again because it looks like a trading range. And lows actually moved a little lower. Right off that original overnight low is where we're bouncing. And we still hadn't gotten below that, but we hadn't started higher yet either. And then that was, took us into the lunch hour. And there hadn't, it's kind of like yesterday, not much has happened since that move down. Um, you might have considered going long here, but, you had this trend line, so I don't know if I would have risked it right there or not. But that's the one time you sometimes do not, when you have range days, let me make sure I go over this because I haven't maybe said this in a while. When you have range days, those are the days that you will often get a channel break without a retest or a new high. And it's just because there's too many people looking at it as a range, and there's too much resistance at the highs and too much support at the lows. So you often see it, the channel down, and once you get the break, it doesn't come back again. So a lot of times it will, but it doesn't always, and that's the one time you'll see that happen, uh, where you don't get the retest like you would normally expect. And the reason being is the support's too strong to get through it, or the resistance is too strong to get through it, and most people are looking at the trading range, and so they all start selling it off the highs or start buying it off the lows. And if you back out, you can see that's pretty clear. That's a range. And the other clue is prices are swinging to both sides of the EMA. Now, another thing to consider here, since we had this big move down and then this move up, if we do get through the support over and continue lower, you might consider another measured move, which would put us way down here. I got to see it get through here, but if it does and starts heading lower, that would be what I'd be considering for a possible target down here between 1831 and 1832. So I'm not going to be here for that. I'm done for the day. I had a really good day. I had one of my better days today. This trade right here made me a lot of money. And so I was pretty much close to my target already. And then, a couple other trades after that gave you a little gravy. And, ended on a great day with a great week. So I hope that you had a great day as well, a great trading day, a good trading week. We'll be back to do it next week. So this is Mack. I'll be back on Monday, and I'll see you next time.